that's loud. You don't want to do that too often. Wow. Hey guys, Abner, Miranda here. Welcome out to the range. The reason that intro is a little bit longer than normal is I wanted to show you guys shots where the muzzle was coming a little bit, protruding a little bit out of the areas, you know, past the barrier, and the shots inside, because this camera was going to pick it up. Once I review the video, I'll know if it actually works. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Today's kind of cold. It might work. Ironically, cold days, because the air is more dense, it causes more sensor vibration. What I wanted to show you guys was, and I know the audio will pick it up, what I wanted to show you is that the sound that is picked up behind the barrier is way harsher on you than the sound that's picked up when the muzzle has made it past the barrier. And that is something that passes into the real world. Everyone's favorite word, the real world. Right. In the real world, if you are rocking your Glock from back here, and I'm only going to do this a couple times because it is all kinds of misery to do this, but I'm going to show it to you from back here. Oh wow, I'm only doing that once. Night and day, night and day. And I guarantee you this camera is going to pick it up. What happens is the sound wave, my muzzle was about here for that first shot, and a lot of the sound goes this way, but some of the sound comes off this board, then that board, and then pops me on this side of the face. Oh, wow, I'm only doing that once. Right now my left eye is hurting because yesterday I was out here working on something else, and my left eye was very close to the explosions. I was working with the Recover 2020, and my eyes were very close to it when I'm working with it. And it just tends to go whack, 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 and it hits you in the sound waves, hit you in the face. This one is a little bit different. Your facial position is a little bit different because this is actually a proper SBR. This allows you to, even from this position, my facial position is different here than it is on a Recover 2020. It just works differently. Same thing happens with, guys, this is infinitely worse with a rifle. If your muzzle doesn't clear with a rifle, you're going to feel it for days. Contact front! Loading! Covering! And I'm giving you these tips because when you come out to training, whether it be with me or with anybody else, when you come out to training, if you're not caring for yourself today, tomorrow, when you're out in the real world, going to the grocery store, going to go pick up your wife, pick up the kids, whatever, your head is going to be spinning. I've had multiple concussions from classes. And guys, it took me a while to realize what the heck was going on. I was coming back from vehicle classes and I was feeling fried. And that's really the only way I can describe it. I was feeling, when I say fried, I mean the kind of fry you get from narcotics. When you take pain medication, you know that fried feeling you get? Well, that's how I felt after vehicle classes. I'd had enough injuries in my life that I unfortunately knew what it felt like to have narcotics, which is why I hate taking painkillers. But I would come back from a vehicle class. I'm pointing at my vehicle. I would come back from a vehicle class, and I just felt like I couldn't see straight. I could hear, but I just couldn't make sense of what was coming at me. I was guzzling water constantly. I just felt out of balance. And my wife goes, "What's the matter with you?" And I finally, after several exposures to this, I went, aha, it's the vehicle training. When you're discharging firearms, whether it be handgun, PDW, or a rifle from inside of a vehicle, or around a barrier, or close to a target for that matter, especially steel. It kicks back at you. Remember guys, when you're working around barriers, even if you're shooting a weapon that doesn't typically shoot supersonic, the sound waves actually might be coming at you in a supersonic sound waves. And I'll give you a great example of this. When you're doing flow dynamics around an aircraft, what is actually discovered, and they actually discovered this in the P-51 Mustang, that there were certain portions of the aircraft that were actually experiencing supersonic airflow because the air was compressing. So the air will compress from here to here and come back at you, and it will pop at you in a manner that is so sharp that it just wiggle waggles your eyes. And so some of you are asking, well, how do you mitigate that? Well, if you're going to be working around barriers or vehicles for a protracted period of time, then you need to double wrap. That means plugs and muffs. That means you're going to have to crank your hearing protection way up just so you can kind of sort of stay connected to the class. But even then, it's going to separate you from the class to such a degree that you're not going to be able to really hear the communication that you need. And it's, guys, it's a disconcerting position to be in as a student. It's also a dangerous position to be in. But that is that's what you have to do when you're working tight around barriers, tight around vehicles. The simple thing you can do is make sure that before you take your shot that you are pushing past the barrier. So instead of doing the cool guy shooting, which is yeah, it's basically the instructor will say, give me 2, 2, and 2 on any of the targets downrange. So you basically come up to the barrier and you go, okay. So you get set up and you push forward. And then here, this one's crucial, because now I've got to push in. And I have to be aware, by the way guys, you've got to be aware of your front sight post, otherwise you'll end up losing it when it rakes across the barrier. Here, I've got to push past. Oh, that is so much better, because had I done it back here, I would have felt it. And then here, it's around the corner. Whoop, yeah, and I wasn't even far enough. Here I'm far enough. Yep. Much better. And then from there, up, check. And remember guys, this is not just look, this is see. And then safety, and then move. So working barriers requires effort, requires understanding of the problem. And unfortunately, that is the problem, because a great many people in this industry don't understand the problem. And that's not only student, but instructor. A lot of instructors don't understand the problem, and they just let the student go and harm themselves because, hey man, who am I to stop them? They're just here to, no, they're not here to just have fun. And who are you to stop them? You're the instructor. Protect your students. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one. I love this little shorty.